Mhm. Okay, well, welcome back, everybody. This is your girl, Coach Beljo, Belinda. And it's been a minute since we've done this podcast, but we're back. We're back with our first guest for 2023. And it's my girl here, Darlene Joseph, and she's going to share a little about her. But before we go into her and her journey, I just want to say if you're new here, welcome. And so this is the podcast is called Wellness for Life Podcast. And here I interview everyday people like you and me and share and give them a platform for them to share their health and wellness journey as a way to inspire you to start or continue on your own, because it's really nice to hear the ups and downs that people go through, yet they're still they're still continuing and all that. So that serves to inspire. And so that's why we're here. So today's guest is Darlene Joseph. She's my cousin, y'all. She's my cousin. So tell us a little bit about yourself before we get into all the details.
Okay, I am a mom of 4.
Yep.
I'm 43 years old. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm saying that out loud. But yes, 43 years old. I'm an occupational therapist here in New York City. And let's say I started my wellness journey, I guess, sometime after the pandemic, but mostly last year at my job. We had like this Biggest Loser kind of thing, and I just needed something to like push me to get started. So that ended up coming in at the right time. So yeah, I started with that because I would say during the pandemic, I was home alone and just basically going to work, coming home, eating, sleeping. And it was just starting to pile up on top of the baby weight and everything else. And I was just getting sluggish and I wasn't feeling myself. So I was like, this gotta go. I have to do something drastic and something that would be sustainable, not an on and off again kind of thing. So, during that time, I never was really into social media, but I was on Instagram a lot. I was on YouTube a lot, doing research, trying to figure out what would be something that I could do, but not necessarily taking pills or doing some crazy diet that would just leave me cranky and hangry all the time.
Yeah, we don't want that. As a mom of 4, the worst thing is for us to be hangry. I've been there, done. Not cool.
Exactly.
So, all right, so that's cool. So, again, welcome aboard. So tell us, so you told us like what made you like really start. It was like the pandemic. So was there like a pivoting point in the pandemic, or did you just realize, hey, I just need to do something? Like, was there like a definite point where you're like,
So I saw a picture of myself. So we have like every year, my rehab team, they're really much into like, doing stuff for the holidays. So we all got t-shirts and we took a group picture, and I was sitting on the chair and I was like, who's that? That is not me. Like, oh no. I was like, I look like a stuffed sausage. This has to be. So that did it for me. And my clothes weren't fitting. It's just everything was just off. I'm used to wearing like really high heels, and my ankles were hurting, my knees were hurting. It's just like I was starting to really feel it, and I needed to make a change like quick. So I started with something different and new, because I remember in college I had an issue with my weight. It's been on and off, but in college, that after that first year, you gain that extra 50, 75 pounds. And then I was like, okay, I'm away from home. I have the time. I don't have an excuse. So I just started eating better. I was working out more. I think back then they did the P90X, I think had just came out then.
Yeah, with Tony Horton.
Right. So I did that. And then, I had like partners that was helping me. So I lost 30 pounds, and I was like, girl, you couldn't tell me nothing. So then, from there, I think I kept my weight pretty steady. But then, after every child, an extra 10 stayed on, and this and that and the other. So then, yeah, that did it for me. That picture was like, I don't know who that person is. So we got to find ourselves again. But it was definitely more of how I was feeling health-wise. I could tell that it just wasn't working. The tiredness, the sluggishness, and just trying to keep up with everyday routines with myself, my schedule, the kids' schedule, and, trying to be a good wife and all that other stuff. So it's just like, it wasn't working. It was just too much, too much. And I wasn't really sleeping well. And I think at one point my husband was like, "You snoring." And I was like, "Oh, we gotta
I
do something."
was like, wait, that did it for you. Like you started, oh hell, no, I'm not snoring.
Exactly, because I always felt like I was that silent sleeper. I stayed
Yeah.
in one spot. People didn't even know if I was in the bed, but now you can hear me. Something's wrong.
We have a
We got a problem.
So what did you end up doing? So what did you decide to do? You did
So
all the
I
research on YouTube and all that.
started with intimate, like before I did that, I did reach out to a friend of ours. Her name is Alice Charitable. You might know her from the community. So she was doing healthy keto. So I got some information from her. She was doing keto, but like without the extra bacon and fat. She was doing it
Oh,
like on a vegan, vegetarian, pescatarian kind of thing. So I got
oh,
some information from her, but then I got into intermittent fasting. So I started with the 16/8 because I was at work and my thing at work was always to have breakfast. So I was to have like a bagel, egg, and cheese and something bready, bagel, fatty that would by before noon, I'm already sluggish.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I
yeah.
cut that out immediately. I went cold turkey, didn't have anything like that, didn't have breakfast, and I didn't have my first meal until lunchtime, which was perfect because around 12, we're all going to lunch anyway. So it kind
Mhm.
of worked with my schedule. And then I would eat lunch. And then before I left work at 3:30, I would have another meal. Because by the time I pick up the kids, get them and all their little activities and get home is after 6. And I didn't want to eat after 6.
Okay.
I had 2 meals. I started off with 2 meals a day and doing 10,000 steps, just regular, nothing crazy, no walking. And instead of taking the elevator, I would take the steps at work. Because we're driving now. It's like no more taking the bus. It was kind of hard actually to do those 10,000 steps in a day. Even though I'm a therapist, but sometimes it's like your patients came to you, and so it was kind of hard. So I just started to implement going on 30-minute walks during lunch, taking the stairs. So I was able to hit closer and closer to my 10,000 steps and the 2 meals a day. So after like 3 weeks where I felt comfortable doing the 2 meals a day, I was like, okay, I got to bring it up a notch. I did 1 meal a day.
Wow.
Yeah.
How
So,
was that? Okay, because you told me about the 2 meals a day, but I don't remember if we talked about going to 1 meal a
right.
day.
So it was longer than 3 weeks. I would say maybe it was like 5 weeks. Five
Okay.
weeks of 2 meals a day. And then on the 6th week, I was like, okay, I feel good. I could do this. I'm not really hungry at that 3:30 mark. I'm still full from lunch. I was just eating because I felt like I needed to eat. And so that way I wouldn't feel hungry when I got home at 6,
Yeah.
but it wasn't because I was hungry. And then I started reading a lot of stuff from Dr. Berg. He was like, if you're not hungry, don't eat. So I was
Okay.
like, oh, I don't know if I could do that, especially, you're home, you're cooking for the kids and you're tasting this and you're tasting that. So,
Right, 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 right.
so I would just eat lunch. So I started off by breaking my fast with soup because I felt like when I did that, I already felt kind of full. So I
Oh,
always would have a soup. So sometimes at the work, they would make like lentil soup or, some type of cabbage soup. So I would just have soup. So that made me feel like I didn't have to go crazy and eat something huge. Um, and then at first, it was mostly like salads. I would have my protein. But then I was like, okay, I could add in some type of good carb. That came later because at this point, I was trying to stay away from carbs altogether because the girl loves some pasta and potatoes and bread. So
struggles,
the
real struggle.
first, yeah, I stayed away from carbs altogether. Um, so I would have salads, like a hefty big bowl of salad and proteins. And then sometimes just to make me feel even more full, if I didn't feel like I hit it, I had like an omelet. So I would try to get, some type of mushroom omelet in, but I could never finish it. So I would always eat half.
Okay.
Um, and oh, let me go back a little bit. In the mornings, I would have warm water with lemon and a
Okay.
little teaspoon of apple cider vinegar. I cut off the coffee. I didn't really drink coffee, but sometimes if it was there at work, I would have a cup because I felt like I need to get through this day. But I
Yeah.
didn't do any coffee. I did lemon in my water. And after a while, I got bored with the water. I started doing salsa water, but with no calories or anything in there.
Okay.
Um, and then when we did our weigh-in 6 weeks later, I lost 20 pounds.
Mm.
So, and that was without me exercising or doing anything. So I was like, what? This is working. But I was like, it's water weight. I needed to look, but that's why I came off fast. I didn't feel or see too much of the only way I did feel like my energy level did go up. But
Okay.
I didn't felt like I lost 20 pounds. But
Okay.
my husband
So
was, yeah.
So now, hold on, let me go back a
Mhm.
little bit. So, the all the things that you were eating, was
Yeah.
this something that someone gave to you, or like was it like a meal plan that you find? Because you said you kind of was asking that person for
Right.
Ashley.
So she gave me an initial meal plan, but it was kind of hard to keep up with everything on it.
Yeah,
So I was able to pick and choose. So like the days that I would have salad, if I had like a boiled egg in it, I would do quinoa, do different little things here and there just to make it not be boring or me
yeah,
not have cravings to have something else. So because I'm a big fish eater, I did a lot of salmon. Um, I did do some chicken, but I really stick to like trying to do different things for my salad. So I did a lot of mixed greens. So I stayed with greens, cauliflower, broccoli, just anything that was healthy. I didn't really do sweet potato, and I felt like I probably should have. Now that I know a little bit more better in terms of nutrients, back then it was just like, just do greens, your
yeah.
salad, and your protein, and you're good to go. You're going to lose the weight. But I think after that,
That's totally keto.
yeah, right.
Yeah,
So then I was like,
greens and meat.
okay. After the 6 weeks, I was like, my body's getting used to this. I have to switch it up a little bit. So I said, okay, I'm gonna bring in one carb, one way or the other, to help, because I was like, now I'm burning more energy. And I didn't count calories or knew exactly how much I was taking in at each meal. But I figured like my greens weren't that much. So I don't think initially I was taking over 1,000 calories,
Wow, that's a huge
calorie deficit, which is why I
yes.
think I was able to lose the 20 in
Yeah.
like 5 weeks.
So now
Um,
hold on. Before you go on, I have a question. So like how did you decide like how much you were gonna eat? Like did you do like portion control? Because you weren't counting calories, which
one
I
count
told you
calories.
myself anyway. So was it like
Uh-huh.
a portion thing, or was it just like an internal thing? Like you checked in with yourself, you're like, you know what, I am full, I'm satisfied, I'm done.
So I feel like because I was able to have the apple cider vinegar and drink all that water, by the time lunchtime came and I broke my fast with the soup, I don't, I wasn't hungry. I didn't need to eat the salad. I felt like I just did because I felt I needed to eat because I need energy.
Yeah.
And if I didn't eat then I would be hungry later when my fasting time was over. I mean,
Mhm.
like, had ended. So I wouldn't keep up with the system that I'm having already. So it's
Mhm.
like if I don't eat now, that mean I have to, what am I going to eat? The other time is like I'm driving, I'm doing this, so I have to eat it right then and there. So later I'm not hungry or trying to eat after my fasting time has
Right.
restarted again. So by that time I was doing OMAD, so I had a window of 4 hours. So I was fasting 20 hours and eating within 4 hours.
Fasting 20 hours and eating. Wow.
Within within 4 hours. So my
And
lunch,
in those 4 hours, you just have the soup and the salad?
my soup and my salad and the protein, right? So like
So then,
so at that point I couldn't eat everything consistently right after each other because I would feel extremely bloated. So I would have the soup and have a little salad in between. On my way to go and picking up the kids, I would have the rest of my salad and my protein. And then by the time I got home, I was completely full.
because you
Right.
kind of shrink your stomach too. You've told,
So that's what happened. And
yeah,
it's like, I gotta eat, but then I couldn't eat. Like, sometimes I wouldn't even finish my salad.
yeah.
So, but then I felt like after that, my body got used to it and it was
Mhm.
still trying to say, I'm holding on to this fat that you're trying to let go. And I was like, okay, so what do I do now? So I was like, okay, I have to start exercising. I have to start lifting weights or doing something else because now my body's used to, I could go 24, even 48 hours and not eat and not feel anything.
Wow.
But that I felt like as time went on, I got used to it. I'm not losing the weight. So I hit a plateau.
You did. Yeah, you definitely hit.
So when I hit the plateau, I was already now over 35 pounds that I've lost.
And that was
So
just the intermittent fasting and just being
Right.
mindful of what you ate. Okay.
Exactly. And stop eating those bagels and donuts and stuff in the morning because that,
Listen, them things they're good. However,
oof.
yes, they're good and
Every
not good.
but every morning, and then on Thursdays I would treat myself with like the platter that came with the home fries and then the turkey bacon and the okay.
Yeah, you were doing the most. You were like, yeah, I'm cashing in.
Yeah. So that's what's like, it's just way too much.
Yeah.
So right now, so when I started the total weight loss, I started at 234 pounds.
That was your starting weight.
Yes.
Mhm.
That was my starting weight. So now I'm 190 pounds,
190. So you've lost 40 pounds.
40 plus pounds.
40
But
plus pounds, yeah.
right. So I've been at 195, 190. So I've been plateauing up and down between that
Okay.
for the past 2 months.
That's awesome.
Yes.
That's awesome. Congratulations. That's great.
Thank you. Thank you.
And now that you've lost those 40 pounds over the course of how many months?
So let's say about 7 to 8 months.
Okay. Okay.
Because
very good.
during the summer, yeah, let's say 7 to 8 months. Because
That's dope.
actually, yeah, 7 to 8 months, and I basically after that 8 months, I just hit that plateau. Like it wasn't going anywhere. But then again, I wasn't doing anything different to help me really get out of the plateau.
Yeah.
So now that I've been reading more and looking at things more, I realized that I need to up my protein and fiber and my greens and implement some type of HIIT or weight training.
Yeah.
Because again, sisters in her 40s, and I need to do something with the muscle weight. So now that I've seen that, I'm just trying to find the right way to do it because, of course, after having 4 kids, I got a hernia in my belly button.
Was it what that D
Yep,
erecti? I can never say that word. You think
I don't like that word, so I never try to say it. Yep, that's the one. So certain exercises I'm been in like, oh, can I do this? Can I do that? I can't do this. I have to be careful because I don't want to do the surgery because I don't have any pain. And if anything, I want to see if I could shrink it. So that's another thing with the health that I was trying to see if I could do, if I can shrink it or bring it in some. And of course, if you have all this extra weight around your abdominal area, that doesn't help. Yeah. So that was another thing for me that I needed to like get that out. Yeah. So now that I'm still in that plateau zone or maintained this 190, 195, I want to get out of it and see if I could lose another 25 pounds. And then I think I'll be content or happy with that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So now, with the weight training, not only does it help with the muscle mass, bone density as well. And that's right. Yes. And muscle burns fat. So of course, the more muscle you have, the more fat you burn. So, where was I going to go? So you mentioned the exercising thing. How have you been able to be consistent with the walking? I mean, up to, yes, in the when you started off your wellness journey, how were you able to stay consistent with that?
So, like I said, because of my work and because of driving everywhere, before I leave work or by the time I pick up the kids, I try to already have 10,000 steps. So I check that on my watch. And then in the beginning, what I was doing when I realized that I was starting to hit that plateau, I did try to work out at least, not like crazy, but I tried to do like, what's this guy's name? I think it was was Walking Joe, was her name? Who was it? Can't think of his name, but it was a fitness thing I found on YouTube. And basically it would just be 20 minutes of high intensity. So I would either do jumping jacks, I would do some squats, rest like maybe 30 seconds and you do something else again. The kids would join in on me. So anything that involved me sweating for at least 30 minutes and got my heart pumping, I did that. So, but then that was up and down. It wasn't like consistent, right? So that's why now I'm like, I need to find something that's a little bit more consistent. So that's why I was like, I have to do the weight training. Now I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to do it. What's the best way to do it? That's going to be like, because initially back in the day, when it was like, girl, you lifting weights, you're going to get too bulky. You're going to look too body. But
that was such a myth.
It is, but I don't know where we got that or what it, I guess we felt
No.
like when we saw weight training, we thought of those muscle guys, right? So we figured if we
Maybe I think it may have come around the time where people were doing like all the bodybuilding stuff. So we
yeah,
associated that with
right, and taking
results.
steroids and all
Yeah,
those other
you know, like
things.
just taking just random steroids just because on a Tuesday, like as a
Exactly.
mom before, like you know, I got time for that. Like I just want to be toned at this point.
Right. So now we know better, right?
Yes, yes.
So I realized, and my husband had mentioned that to me a couple of times also. So he has this medicine ball here that's like 25. I was like, oh, I don't have any weights. He was like, you can use the ball. I was like, I could. So
That
that's
works. That
it.
works.
Yeah.
And
So
you've been doing all your workouts at home, right?
I have to. No time to go anywhere else. Because by the time we get home is like we run a drill sergeant house here. We try to. Um, shower, dinner, prayer, bed. So, we got them to bed between 7:30 and 8 today. And then now it's just like either food prep, clean up, get ready for
Mm,
the next day, or try to do anything for myself. And then, be a wife. And
yep.
then somewhere in between and get some sleep. So it's like, because it starts all over again. 5:30 tomorrow morning. So working out at home between the kids going before they went to bed, that would probably be my best time. Or like right now while they're asleep, because sometimes they get in the way and you don't have like a real workout because it's like, okay, guys, you're playing around. Or they'll tell you, Mom, what are you doing? You're doing it too slow, or you're doing it too
I
fast,
know.
or
Yeah,
you're taking
yeah.
up the space. And it's like, okay, guys, you just killed it for me. I can't do it. So I would
Go
have
away.
to wait.
Let me slack off in my workout, please. Thank you.
Exactly. But then I was like, I heard that it was good to work out while you're in a fasted state. So I was like, that means I have to get up in the morning and do it.
Mhm.
And I'm like, it's just trying to find that balance. So
Yeah.
yeah. So at first you're like, okay, 30, I need to lose X amount of weight in 90 days. I think it takes 90 days just for you to just find that routine or find that balance that's going to get you started.
Mhm.
And then after that, and plus everybody's body is different. And my body's not how it was when I was 21. When I was 21, I could lose it in 90 days, no
That's
problem. But
right.
now,
Listen, the struggle is real. I'm struggling with that myself because I
yeah,
actually posted about that today.
yeah,
I don't know when this video will be aired, what this recording will be aired, but like the
right.
day of this recording, I posted about that.
Mhm.
That my body is totally different than it was, even 10 years ago. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Especially since I had the last kid, our last
Hmm.
baby, 10 years after the third one. So there's a huge difference. Like I was able to bounce back real quickly after the other kids, just go to the gym and boop, and there you go. First baby
Hmm.
gone.
Yeah,
Now it's like here with me forever. And it's just like, hi, how are you? And I'm just like,
exactly.
yeah, all that extra baby weight is just still there.
Ooh.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel you. So now, are you going for a number, or are you going for a feeling, or something else?
So at first I felt like I was going for a number. But lately, like when my kids will hug me, they'll be like, "Oh, Mom, we can feel you." Or, my husband would hug me. It's like, things are different. And then, of course, people tell you how you look different compared to how you feel. So
Mhm.
now I think I'm going for more of a feeling and then how I fit in my clothes, not necessarily a weight, because now if I'm going to be doing the muscle training, I know the scale is going to look different than what I
Yeah.
expect in my head. So
Yep.
it's going to be more on how I feel,
Yeah.
bringing up my energy. That's number one. And making sure I don't feel like that aches and pains in the joints. Once
Hmm.
that's out of the way, I have the energy and I'll be happy with whatever, the scale says.
Yeah.
And just, how I fit in my clothes. I don't feel like I gotta be like holding my stomach
Yeah.
in or
Yeah. And then you gotta
fixing
lean
my
back a
throat.
little bit.
Right.
And,
So,
yep.
and I haven't been a skinny mini, and but I have had like, a good shape that I could be like, okay, I'm feeling that. So for me, it's gonna be the feeling. But at
Nice.
first initially I was like, oh, if I could go to 150 pounds, I'll be a hot mom. Like now I'm looking at it, 150 pounds, I would probably not look like myself. They'll be like, Sister Darlene, are you okay? Is
I know
everything
you okay. Are
okay?
you doing okay? You feeling good?
Exactly.
You sick? No, I know, but you know what? Sometimes 150, like maybe at this age, it might not suit. Like maybe when you were obviously when you were younger, that could have worked for you. But like at this age, it's like probably not the
Maybe
best.
not. But
Yeah,
like I said, so far that from what I've lost, I've been able to fit into my clothes that's in the closet. So like that feeling
that
is more
motivation.
than what I'm going for, right?
Absolutely,
And
absolutely.
then, when your husband's like, yeah, you're not the same, it's like, okay, we're getting there.
It's like, well, define not the same. Is that a good thing? Like, which
Right? It's like, oh, I can feel my rib right here. I was like, okay.
that is so funny. So
Yeah.
now how do you do it with the in terms of like incorporating all this new healthy lifestyle with the kids, like in terms of cooking? I know you're down to one meal, so it may be a little or at least a 4 hour window. So it may be a little easier.
Right. So yes,
Rather, so how do you do that? Do you have to cook like 20 different meals or like how what are we doing?
so I try to do meal preps on Sunday, especially
Okay.
for the kids, because when we come home, it's hard to go ahead and start something new to cook and then figure it out. But they noticed right away that I wasn't really eating that much. And it was like, wait, what's going on? Mommy, you on a diet? It's like, mommy trying to be healthy. And then little by little, they wanted to mimic what I was doing, especially my girls. So like Caitlin is into eating olives now and not
Mhm.
having salad dressing in her salad, you
That's
know, it's okay. And there's like, so now I'm able to implement more healthy stuff for them, because before it was like do a quick fix or just grab some pizza because I'm tired today. So I try to implement some food prepping on Sundays, and the days that I can't, I'll have something in the freezer that, I can throw on for them that's still healthy that they can eat.
that's
So
awesome. Yeah.
I try not to have like the 20 meals. And then Joe, I food prep for him too to go to lunch for work. So I try my best to get everything done on Sunday or Monday afternoons. So that way because if I don't do that, that's when I find that it throws my whole week off. And I end up either not eating or eating something crazy that
Yeah, you don't want to eat.
it's still kind of healthy, but it has all this extra stuff in it that I
Right.
don't need.
Like like it's better than what else I could eat. However, it's not the best option.
Exactly. Or it's just like a plain salad. I want to eat a nutrient dense salad,
Yeah.
not just some iceberg and something else in it,
And
right?
some sour jack and some olives and some.
Exactly.
I know.
So I try to the food prepping, I find that makes my week go by so much better
Yeah.
when I'm able to do that. So, but I give myself grace, because between laundry, grocery shopping, this, that, and the other, it may not happen
Mhm.
Sunday, but at least I'll do it Monday for Tuesday, 2 days in a row, and
Yep.
then so on and so forth, because then you stress yourself, and then that
Sure.
stress increases your cortisol, and then you don't sleep, and forget it. All that work I've been doing, I ain't lose a pound yet.
Right. That's true. Between the cortisol and lack of sleep, then you still will not lose. Yep.
I'm still not losing the
It's so
weight.
true.
And then I had to learn that, of course, the hard way, because Johans would call me a night owl. I'll be up late, food
Yes.
prepping, clothes prepping. Then I come in the computer, try to do my personal thing. It's 12 o'clock. I'm going to bed. I'm waking up at 5. I didn't have good sleep, So I realized that if I don't have the good sleep, I'm not losing the weight. So it's like it
Hmm.
comes all together. And
It does. It
you know,
does.
you could go crazy on working out, but if
Yeah.
everything else is not, happening, then you'll be like, how come I'm doing all this? I'm not losing weight. Well, still eating sugar, you're not working, you're not eating right.
Mhm.
That's
And you're
why.
not
So
sleeping well. Yeah, absolutely. It all comes together. It's a combination. And drinking water, like you said, and that's proof enough. Like we all know that. Well, maybe we don't all know this, but like you
uh-huh,
and I both know that water does help curb like the appetite or like your
definitely
hunger, not
the
appetite, but
hunger.
hunger. So
Right.
then you feel you feel less hungry if the more water you're drinking, the less likely you snack and all that stuff. It's like one of the
Oh,
best weight loss
yeah.
tools that we were given.
True, true. And then eat ever so often, since I did the intermittent fasting, I also, like, whenever I felt like I hit that plateau, I would do like a water fast for like 48 hours.
Mm,
And that kind of like jump started me to get,
like
and plus
reset it.
it,
Mm,
right. And plus I felt like it also had a lot of health benefits to it
absolutely.
as well. But I wouldn't do it crazy where I wouldn't be able to sustain and start getting lightheaded, dizzy. But during that time, you have to have other things in your water, electrolytes and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't suggest anyone just go cold turkey and start to do it. That's something you have to work up to get to that, because my body is just like, oh, we're over your 20 hours. We could do that, no problem. So I would push the envelope and probably do like a 48 hours,
All
or
right.
and
Yeah.
that would work.
That
And
makes sense. That makes sense. So now
mm-hmm.
tell me, what is one of the biggest things that you've learned throughout your health and wellness journey?
Ooh, what's the biggest thing? Hmm. I thought I knew myself, but I did not.
Explain.
So, I thought like I had control over how I was eating. Like, if you would ask me, do you think you're healthy? And I would say yes. But then if I jot down what I ate in the day and or how my day went, I was not healthy. I was very sanitary and eating everything that I shouldn't have been eating. And it wasn't just what I was eating. And I think my mental health also wasn't where I would like it to be,
Mm,
especially coming out of the pandemic.
mm,
And we dealt with a health scare with my oldest daughter, and just like everything just kept coming up where you start trying to fix and take care of everything around you, and then you're not okay, you know?
yes. Yes.
So, they always tell you to put on your mask first during
Yep.
the airplane, if anything, before you can help someone else. So I think I learned that I
Mm,
wasn't doing that. I was literally drowning in not being healthy physically, mentally, and emotionally. So
mm.
that's something I like, because, to me, I'm like, okay, I'm 40. I know myself. You can't tell me.
You can't tell me nothing.
You can't tell me nothing. And,
Meanwhile.
it's like a restart happened,
Yeah.
and I think in different parts of your life you're going to have that restart, because you went from being married, you're enjoying that, then the kids came in, and it's
Mhm,
like, well, then your body transformed. That's
mhm,
another reset. And then you got
mhm.
to get used to that, and then your husband's looking at you like, hello, what about me?
Yep.
And so you have to start, and then you're a daughter, and then you're a sister, and
Yep.
then we have work, and then you got church if you're a church person. So it's like all of these things are there, and you want to be involved, or take care, or for me, I said I don't want to disappoint, my roles that I've taken on, but I wasn't taking care of myself at all.
Right. Right.
So
So now
that
sorry,
go
which
ahead.
role did you have to like say no to or like put aside while you did this? Because
Mm.
it's still kind of hard to do all that, right? While you still have all the hats on. So which role did
So
you like, you know what? Just gonna have to sit here for a little bit before we can go back to this.
wow, that's hard to answer, but I want to say that um, my role at home had to be rearranged,
Okay.
right? So when moments I would probably stay up late to take care of people's clothing and stuff, so I had to rearrange that for another day, so that way I could food prep for myself. Because if I didn't food prep, like I said before, it threw off my whole week. So I had to rearrange my time. So I don't think I necessarily neglected it, but I
Okay.
didn't give it priority every day,
Yeah.
right? So I rearranged so that way I could put myself first on certain days.
Yeah.
And then once I was able to do that, I felt energized and good to be able to take care of everything else.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
maybe like rearrange and cut off certain times that I would put into something. So if my mom called me, hey, can you go on this line and buy me something? Mom, I'm going to do it for you, but it's going to have to be done tomorrow, because right now I'm cleaning up because I got to cook and do this, because
Mm,
otherwise it's like, the Caribbean moms and, that generation daughter, and they call you Everything else has to stop.
Right?
Because what they need to be done needs to be done.
Right. It needs to be done like yesterday.
And if you don't do it, you're the worst person in the world.
Right. Forget everything else you've done, but right now
Yeah.
you
Right.
yeah.
So, and again, you know, I think with my husband being supportive of me making these changes, that also helped
Yeah,
a
absolutely.
lot. And he helped pick up certain things that I would probably not necessarily ask for help, just felt like, okay, I got to do this, go do this. And then he would step in, and that helped a lot as well. So I knew that him being supportive and me rearranging things that I could get it done.
Yeah, kudos to the supportive husbands,
For
because
real.
that plays a role. And you know, and it goes to show, like sometimes we think that we're the only ones that can do certain things. And then it's not a slight to them. It's just because we've always picked it up. They're like, well, they got it, right? Until you're like, I don't got it. And then it gives them the space to step up and take on that responsibility, which is awesome. Which is awesome.
Exactly. I think we're just so used to saying, okay, you know, you get into this routine of,
Yeah.
okay, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this.
Mhm.
And then you're tired. And then sometimes you look at yourself and like, okay, I'm giving him short answers or being up because I want him to say, but I didn't ask for help.
That's
You
true.
know, we don't ask for help.
We don't. So it's
So,
nice. One thing I can definitely take away from this is like, it's important to ask for, sometimes you're going to have to ask for for help in order for you to be able to better manage or kind of like change things around in order to improve your health.
exactly.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest thing I learned was relearning me. And I'm still am because now I'm implementing this weightlifting hit, whatever it is I'm gonna call it.
The
To
hit
like,
workout.
yeah, to get myself over this plateau. And I think that's gonna be a new set of challenges for me because
Yeah, you're gonna have the soreness when you're trying to cook now. Your arm is gonna be all sore, your hamstrings gonna be tight.
listen, yeah. And then another excuse for me to ask for a massage. So hey,
There you go.
it's
You
a
better start
win-win.
warming up those hands in the oils. Yeah, girl, for
Okay.
real. For real,
It
for real. Oh my goodness. So like this been good. So let me see. So what would you offer? What advice? Because I mean, I really love talking to mamas only because I talk to everyone on this show. But then like I feel like when you talk to women, especially women who are mothers, because we wear all the hats. And so it's really nice to hear how different people have to adapt in order to get the results that they want. So if you are, if there's someone in my audience right now who's a mother of four, who is like also struggling, maybe she has a supportive partner, she doesn't, and she's trying to get her health back on track, what words of encouragement would you offer her?
I think, you know, the first thing a person should do is probably what I should have done, but I didn't start off that way, was start off with a journal or start off with like a to-do list, right? Because I always keep everything here and the stuff that's going on in here, you know, I'm really like, and back in the day, I was a person that used to write things down. So writing things down definitely helps. And with that, some sacrifices have to be made. Like you have to say to myself, this is what I want. I can't keep doing the same things over and over again. So if it means that you have to wake up an extra hour early or push yourself to go to sleep an extra hour early, then those are the things that you're going to have to do. Is that to-do list and the sacrifices to say, hey, if it's in the morning I can work out, then it's when I'm going to do it. If it's in the evening, but we as women neglect ourselves way too much and we pay for it in the end. When all the kids are grown and everything and your husband's looking at you sideways and you know, so the to-do list, right, like a to-do list of your goals. What is it that you want to do? And then breaking them down and giving yourself grace and not feeling like you have to get it done because you want to look like that girl on Instagram or whatever have you, or you want to have that life that we build in our head, that how things are supposed to be. But give yourself that time because it happened so quickly for me, I feel like. And now going back, I was able to think, oh, I should have done this, you know, I should have written this and that. But now that I know, I'm able to write things down and say,
Yeah.
okay, this is part 2 of my journey now. I'm going to start lifting weights so I can strengthen my muscles, strengthen my mind, strengthen my mental health, because keeping everything bottled up inside, oof,
Listen.
you need an outlet. And
Yeah.
that outlet you can use to work out. You can use
Yeah.
for a walk.
That's
You
true.
can use during meditation. You can use, like, if you have a special niche that you used to do and you stop doing it for whatever reason, you pick that
Mhm.
back up. Because now that you're able to do something for yourself and take
Yeah.
care of yourself, whatever that is. And some people is just want to get their hair done or whatever it is. So you have to, like, make that time for yourself and take care of yourself. Because if you don't, mm, but your kids would be happier for it. Your
Yeah.
husband would be happier for it. And
Yeah.
everyone would notice that, because you're just going to be glistering and shining everywhere. And then you'll be the better part of yourself when you're
Yeah.
able to do
Absolutely.
that. So,
Absolutely. I'd also like to add, like, just remembering also that it takes time as well. Because I'm
yeah.
like, you were able to lose like 40 pounds. It took you, it wasn't like a 30-day thing or 3-week
No.
thing or a 90-day thing.
Mm-mm.
It took like 7 to 8 months.
Yeah.
And so being mindful that the journey is indeed a journey and not a destination. Like, it's because even when
Exactly.
you get to where you think you're gonna go, you're like, okay, now it's either you have to maintain it or you have to set a different goal. You don't just stop. So like there are
Mm-hmm.
different phases in that walk, and different phases
That's
in that
true.
journey. So
Mhm.
right now you did your first phase and you learned
Yeah.
about intermittent fat, and I think in general for all of us, learning how to appreciate the journey in anything, whether it's
Yeah.
health and wellness, it's work related, it's parenting, it's anything. Like
Mhm.
sometimes we just want the quick fix, we want the results, we just want the, hey, this is, it just happened overnight. That's
Because
not how
this is
life
the
works.
age that we're living in now, right? You'll go on Instagram and you'll see that person's before, and then you click on the next one, you see after. It's like, okay, I could do
Yeah.
this, but it doesn't become sustainable in your
It's,
everyday life.
right. And
So,
it's funny you said that, because that's precisely one of the reasons why I started this podcast.
yeah.
Because like it's like you see the before and after, but you never get to hear about the in between. So then
Mm.
you're like setting false hopes or expectations
Oh,
based
yeah.
on 5,000 pictures you see on Instagram or Facebook or whatever,
Mhm.
because you see the
Mhm.
before and after, and it's like, hey, there's a lot that happened in those times.
A whole
It's
lot.
a whole body and mind transformation, because health and wellness is
Definitely.
not physical, it's mental. Because there
Yeah.
are times you don't want to do the things, but you got to mentally push yourself to do
Oh,
them.
yeah. Definitely. It's
You know what I
definitely a
mean?
mental thing.
It's mostly mental, if not, because if you tell yourself, I'm not doing it, guess what's happening? You're not doing it.
Hmm.
You know what I
Hmm.
mean? That's exactly what it is. So
Yeah.
like I said, that's the main reason why I started this podcast. So it's
Hmm.
funny that you said that. We
Yeah.
get to see the journey, get to hear the journey, and
Right.
also get to talk to people who are not, but you're like right now, you're done with your first phase, and like now you're going to the
Yeah.
second phase. So
Right.
understanding that it's fluid, it's always going, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? There's never a dull moment. There are all the things you're
Never
learning,
a dull moment.
girl, for real. And yeah, sometimes it can work. It's some days you're gonna get it right, some days you're not. Giving yourself
Right.
grace, like you mentioned. So yeah, all the things. That's awesome.
Hmm. Yeah.
Any other last words you want to add before we wrap this up?
Um, I guess everybody's body is different. So
Yep.
you have to find what works for you.
Mhm.
Because someone can be doing the 16-8 and it works perfectly for
Yeah.
them and oh my.
And
But now that I'm going to be implementing the weight training, I'm going to go back to the 2 meals a day, because I'm going to be burning more calories. So I need to
mhm.
intake more calories. So now
Mhm.
I know that, and more fiber and proteins, and taking supplements, B12,
Mhm.
all that other stuff that women we need, because we got that whole metabolic hormone thing going on. So it's like you really have to basically learn those things, speak to your professional doctors and all that stuff, and get to know your body as it is now, especially
Yes.
after giving birth or having any type of surgeries. And, as African American women, fibroids and
Mhm.
PCOS, all that other stuff that
Mhm.
comes into this big melting pot of your
Mhm.
wellness. So yeah, I would tell anyone to just get to know yourself and do what works for you, and try not to copy what you see on there, because trust me, it's not going to be easy.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
whatever, it may just not work for you either, whatever you see, copy it.
exactly.
And then again, we don't know what their journey was to in order for them to get there. So
True.
you can use that as inspiration, as
Mhm.
motivation, but
Yes,
then get to know yourself and see what works best for you.
exactly.
So I think we can end right there because those are just great words to end on. So thank you so
Really.
very much,
Thank
Darlene.
you for having
I
me.
really appreciate it. It was fun. It was nice chatting with you.
Yes,
Um,
definitely.
yeah, so I can't wait to see you over the summer. I'm gonna see the difference between the last time I saw you.
Yes, you're gonna see me during the summer, so we'll see.
All right, thanks again. All
All
right,
right.
guys, you know the
Thank you.
deal.
Have a
You're
good
welcome.
night.
You know the deal. Subscribe, comment, like, share with others, and again, allow this to be again no medical advice here. Always consult with your doctor. Always have to
That's
say
right.
that. However, healthy lifestyle, living a healthy lifestyle is always going to be 100%. But again, what works for you? It's what works for you. So
Mhm.
if you've had tried stuff in the past and it didn't work, then try something different, again with the help of a professional. If you're taking medications, continue to take those medications. Don't just stop them just on your own, because those medications were kind of made the way they're made. So stopping them abruptly is not going to be, advantageous to you. So again, always seek the counsel of someone, of a medical professional. But with that said, I hope that this this episode served to inspire you to continue on or motivate you to push forward or start all over again
That's
that's
right.
where you are in your journey. But it's never too late to start. Health and wellness is a journey, not a destination. So thanks again for watching. Talk to you again next time. Bye-bye.